For Pacifica Radio, I'm Teresa Wierzbianska. Red flag warnings around Los Angeles County are being lifted as threats of high winds subside and the two most destructive fires become more contained. Some residents who have lost homes in the Eaton fire near Pasadena have been allowed to surveil the area where their homes once stood. Ryan Pearson is an Altadena resident and journalist.
I am back at my house in Altadena for the first time since the day of the fires. And this is heading into the back of the house. This was my daughter's room. She would be in here playing Roblox with her next door neighbors. She had two friends who 1 year older and 1 year younger than her who lived next door, and they would play together all the time. I had been out helping to cover the Palisades wildfires, and when I drove back to home, I saw a little orange haze of smoke on my way home. And when I pulled up at home, a colleague texted me and said there's another fire in Altadena. I went out to check on it and see what it looked like, and drove down the street and saw flames on our mountain about 3 miles away or so, but the winds, the Santa Anas, were stronger than I've ever felt them.
As of this morning, the Eaton fire is 45% contained, burning over 14,000 acres. The Palisades fire is 21% contained. A long-awaited ceasefire agreement in Gaza has been delayed after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused Hamas of causing a last-minute crisis, preventing his cabinet from approving the deal. Hamas denied Netanyahu's claims, insisting the group had not reneged on any part of the draft agreement. The deal, mediated by Qatar, Egypt, and the United States, was announced on Wednesday, sparking celebrations across Gaza as Palestinians expressed a mix of joy, relief, and sorrow over the devastation of the past 15 months of conflict. Karen Chamas has more.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said what he called a last-minute crisis with Hamas was holding up Israeli approval of a long-awaited ceasefire. Israeli strikes across the Gaza Strip have killed at least 72 people since the deal was announced, according to Gaza health officials. Netanyahu began signaling there were issues with the deal just hours after mediators, the US and Qatar, announced it was complete. Israeli government spokesman David Mencer.
This deal cannot be brought to Israel's cabinet to vote on until it is finalised.
It was not yet clear if Netanyahu's statements reflected jockeying to keep his fractious coalition together or whether the deal was at risk. Without giving details, Netanyahu's office has accused Hamas of reneging on parts of the agreement in an attempt to gain further concessions. I'm Karen Chamas.
President Biden delivered his final Oval Office address Wednesday evening, warning Americans of growing threats to democracy in a, quote, dangerous concentration of power.
Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead.
President Biden, without directly mentioning Trump or Elon Musk, cautioned against the rise of a tech industrial complex and the overwhelming spread of misinformation and disinformation. Lawyers for impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol have failed in their court effort to secure his release. The decision on Thursday came a day after Yoon was detained at his residence for questioning over rebellion allegations linked to his martial law declaration last month. Yoon was sent to a detention center near South Korean capital Seoul after undergoing more than 10 hours of questioning on Wednesday at the headquarters of the Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials. Yoon exercised his right to remain silent. He refused further questioning by the anti-corruption officials on Thursday as his lawyers maintained that the investigation was illegal. Investigators are expected to move to place him under arrest in the coming days. For Pacifica Radio, I'm Teresa Wierzbianska.